Everybody, this is Mike Sandoval with MUSE TV, and we are here with the director of Overrun. And we have, oh shoot, I just screwed up.
Uh-oh, take two.
Take two. Let's get this off again. Okay, let's go. Hey everybody, this is Mike Sandoval, and we're here on MUSE TV, and we're here with the director of Overrun, Josh Tessier, as well as William Katt. How did everything come about with this film? Because it's a really, it really brings back like a film noir type of style, but it's also very gritty. It's a very gritty film.
You're muted, Josh.
Oh, can you not hear me?
Okay,
Yeah,
there you go.
There you go.
Okay, can you turn that down? Did you enjoy the film, Mike?
Yes, I did. I really liked it.
So film noir is kind of my thing. I love Naked Lunch. I love the film noir genre. I love comic books in general, like graphic novels. So it's like putting it together in that style. It's just kind of where I live. I like dark comedies. And like that kind of like grittier side of things, but it's more of like a character study because we all see these cliche. Because I mean, I'm gonna be honest, the movie is a very cliche type of film, but I like character work, right? It's like, for instance, Bill, you get a guy who's very likable, and people know him as the greatest American hero in all these likable roles, and you put him in a role where he's not likable, and you want to like him, but you're conflicted as an audience if you know who he is, you know, because he's a very kind person in life. And I think that like puts the audience in a spot, because then you can kind of understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, you know, that's where that is. But the film as a whole, I like that style. I like having like the mismatch, right, of the worlds and putting it together. That's just kind of where I come from. So like we were planning on doing that from the get-go, as in trying to like etch it in that world to where it is fairly like dark comedy, like Fargo, where you shoot a guy and there's blood everywhere, but still we can be light of it. There's a guy with Daisy Dukes in the movie. I mean, you can't take yourself too serious.
Exactly. And here's the thing, like with me, I was like, I love to watch a movie where I'm thinking and where it makes me think, like, who's the bad guys, who are not the bad guys, what's going on and everything. And that's what this film does. It really makes you think about who the characters are playing, where they're at, where they're leaving. Was that always something that was written into the script and make sure that?
I think that, yes, to an extent it was. It's like to give that illusion of who's good, who's bad, who's anti-hero. You know, when you do ensemble pieces, you really want to kind of lurch on to, and that's what TV shows that do well, they do that, you know, like you're rooting for a guy who's not necessarily a good guy, but you understand where he's coming from. So you can kind of get behind his cause. I like doing that as a filmmaker in general.
And going into that, William, your character kind of looks like he's a cop. He's seen the thing. He's been around, but yet you don't know what side he's really on, and that's the thing. And then you start seeing like where his alliances. It's kind of like where his alliances will lie. What was it like to play in that in that type of sandbox in his world, in Josh's world?
You know, it's always interesting because you know, as you get older, you have a tendency, even in this business, to get a little bit jaded. And I played that aspect of him, that kind of quality that this is a cop who's seen it all. He's terminally ill. His wife has just passed away, and he's kind of he's on the take, but he's conflicted about it. So it gives him a real nice character arc to play. And that's always fun. You know, Josh, what he's not only is he a great action director, you know, like Stahelensky and Hal Needham, you know, he's following in their footsteps, John Wick, Smokey and the Bandit, but he also is a really terrific storyteller. And as a result of that, it was interesting to play that character.
Yeah. And where did you shoot this, Josh? Because it looks very familiar.
We shot it in Los Angeles. We shot in like Agua Dulce and Simi Valley, and kind of like doubled up places. You know, we were modest budget, so we just kind of like we put it all together in like Simi Valley, Agua Dulce, and in Canoga Park, like in LA.
Yeah, and because that's the one thing I like is like where you decided to shoot really tells and helps build up the story because of the locations that you use. I really like that in the film.
Thank you.
Yeah. So with this film, like you're working with Strike Back Studios. How was it working with Strike Back to get this film distributed?
It was good. Actually, I met Noor through another guy that we use named Eric Wilkinson, and they've been friends for a long time. And Noor had just switched over from Samuel Goldwyn, so they're a fairly new company, but they feel like a right fit for us because they haven't done very many action films, so it felt like they could push us in a way that other places that where we would just kind of be another one of their type of films. It would just kind of we can get lost, because you look at it at its surface level, it's just another like indie action film. And I think Noor is taking the right amount of effort to make it not that.
Yeah. And William, with the script, what was it about the script that you just said you had to be a part of it and play this role, or were you considered for another role?
I don't know. That's a question for Josh, but I think I was too old for really any other role. And I kind of fit the bill for this one. And really, I think Josh, as he was creating the script, he kind of had me in mind because we've been friends for a very, very long time. We met on a film more than 10 years ago, and we've stayed Josh is like family to me. So I think really, to be fair, he was kind of thinking of me for that role all along.
Awesome. And Josh, like you have a lot of experience in the film industry. You've done Mandalorian, which is one of the biggest shows right now, and other things. Like how much of all this experience did you take into put into like directing your film?
All of it. You learn from everything. Small shows, medium shows, big shows. It makes you better. It makes you a smarter filmmaker. If you're only doing one size film, you're only going to be doing that because that's all you know. So the benefit of me being on all these sets and then learning post, I went to school for that, and we own a post house too. So like just learning every which way I can or could to be better and have a better conversation with people in other departments. So therefore, we're all on the same page and we can understand each other rather than me just demanding shit, because that's just not the way to do it. I don't believe in treating people less than. I think that's another thing that my father taught me. It's the one good thing I got of just making sure that, listen, you treat people right. I learned that on sets, if you don't do that, like you're going to burn it to the ground. So if you're doing a small movie like we did, like we're doing, I think that you just have to make sure that you teach people, treat people how they want to be treated. And they're doing a favor for you, especially in these small ones, because these movies in general are hard to make. Bad movies, good movies, mediocre movies, it doesn't matter. That's the biggest thing that I've learned from all the big sets, Mandalorian included, and Walking Dead and all these other things is, they're hard shows, and they think that because they're paying you, they can treat you a certain way. But I felt that for me, if you treat people well, they're going to work harder for you, and they're going to make the movie better because they believe in what you're doing, because you're treating them well.
Yeah, and I think it comes off the screen, off of the TV screen, because I saw it on a TV. Wish I could have seen it in a theater, because I think it really plays to a theater.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I really think it does. And the acting, I mean, William, your acting comes off, and you could tell you just feel it. Your character's emotion coming off of the screen.
Well, we had some great actors, and I want to mention before we go much further, Bruce Dern was in this, and who's just a marvelous actor. He's so iconic. I've been watching him since I was a kid. He's one of the two guys that killed John Wayne, for God's sake. So we have to make mention of that. But he was so wonderful to hear all his stories from early Hollywood, and to have him on the set and to share the scene with us. And we had some other wonderful actors. Josh, you can mention some of the other actors.
Yeah, I mean, Haley Strode, who's very underrated to me, she was very good in our film. She plays Burke. She's like the one secret that I have throughout the whole movie. But I thought she did well, and the guy who played the sister was really strong, and it's like with her first go at it as well. And even Omid, I wanted to support Omid with a bunch of veteran actors like Johnny Messner and Robert Miano, who is very good at playing those champagne villains. He's great. Donnie Brasco,
and of course, Nick Turturro is in it, who's fabulous.
Yeah, he's always very funny, and he was a great guy. I love Nick. I work with him in a heartbeat, and then obviously Christopher Troy, who did a lot of our action design, and he's a very dear friend of mine too. And then a bunch of like guys that are a company that are primarily, we all come from stunts, and they're all great. They helped me out. I couldn't have done the film without them either, just the crew and just our team and Turbo Panda. But the actors, I felt like there are a bunch of people who just are very good at what they do, you know, like they're like, oh, I know that person kind of people. And I really enjoy Jack Griffo and Chris Tallman. Chris Tallman's not getting enough love. He plays Walsh, the kind of doofy cop. He is such a funny man. I worked with him and Jack on a TV show called The Thundermans. And, you know, I was the stunt coordinator on that show. And they played father and son on that show. And they're just really great actors, really great people. They're used to like moving quickly and efficiently, you know, because we shot this movie in 15 days. Wow. And it was a race to get it done. But, you know, we didn't do any reshoots. We didn't go over time. Like we did it correctly, prepped it properly. And you can do any movie in any budget as long as you prep it properly, I feel. And you can still make a good product. So, but the cast was wonderful. I loved all the cast in the film. And I think that they did the movie justice with what little backstories they had. They were able to bring it to life and have a good time with it, you know?
Yeah. Is there a possibility that this film will get us a theater screening or a screening on the big screen?
I mean, if foreign, yes. Like it's going to be in Europe. It's going to be there. I'm still working on that with North America. Like he was gonna do it, and then they were kind of on the fence about it. So I'm not quite sure what they're going to do with it. But I really appreciate that compliment that you think that it belongs in the big screen. It makes me feel good. So
well, hopefully it does, because I want to see it on a big screen. Because
I appreciate that.
I think this type of film plays so well into the big screen. But ultimately, great film. Really loved it. Last question. I have to ask this question, William, and we'll make it fun. This year is the 40th anniversary of The Greatest American Hero. And I remember it as a kid, a 6-year-old kid watching it. And even to this day, I noticed that it's on Peacock, it's on Amazon. What does it feel like to have this show been able to live this long and how a new generation of kids watching it?
It's no one expected the show to have this kind of long legs and the enduring sustaining power. You know, I it's funny. I remember Seth MacFarlane mentioned that in a homage when on his show on Family Guy. He was talking about how a show could run that short a time, 3.5 years, and yet have endured 40 years on the air, and people remember it so favorably. I don't know. It might be the song has kept it alive as well. I want to pay homage to that. You know. Yeah, Mike Post's song.
And I think that's the one thing we miss in TV today, a great theme song.
I agree.
And I think that's what we miss a lot. But with you, just to end everything off, Overrun comes out August 17th, correct? On
yep, every platform.
Yeah, awesome. Yep. So go watch it, go check it out. Josh, William, thank you so much for being a part of MUSE TV. And I'm telling you, you got to watch this movie. It's a great film. You're going to enjoy it. And you'll find a link down in the description. And we'll see you next time here on MUSE TV.
Thank you.